It's Super Saturday from Dietz Stadium in Kingston, New York. The New York State Class C semifinals as the Section 2 champion Black Horses of Schuylerville take on the Section 1 champion Eagles of Dobbs Ferry. We welcome you high atop the press box here at Dietz Stadium. Robert Lee along with James Allen, as we have been all season. We appreciate you joining us for this final step to the Carrier Dome. James, Super Saturday we're calling it. Should be a super day of football as three Capital Region teams try to take the last step.
Well, Cambridge last night already took the first step, Robert. They won in Class D. They're going on to the Carrier Dome for the fourth time since 1999, all in odd years. And now Section 2 has three teams going, and we'll lead it off with Schuylerville today against Dobbs Ferry.
It'll be Section 2 versus Section 1 all day. This pregame report is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Save hundreds of dollars a year with our all-in-one package. And a special thanks to our major sponsors, your local Upstate Ford dealers and Softex. Right now, we're going to send it down to the sidelines, check in with the third member of our broadcast team, and Marissa Jacks.
Thanks, Robert. Now, Schuylerville had an easy game last weekend against AuSable Valley. They did get some help from that AuSable team. They had 6 turnovers, scored just 8 points. Now, I talked to Coach O'Connor before the game. He said that was a concern. His team really needed to come out here, play tough football, score early. He said we can't wait until the second and third quarters like we've been doing. We have to come out from the beginning tough. They're going to get a really good running game today from Zach Kozerski. Hopefully he can get into the end zone quite a bit. Robert, back to you.
Marissa, thank you, and we'll see if that plays out. Before the game, we had a chance to check in with each of the coaches. Our Anaconda Sports keys to the game.
Well, offensively, we got to control the line of scrimmage, and we got to be able to move the ball. We got some quality running backs, and we got to give them a little bit of room and let them run.
And defense?
Defense, we got to stop the fullback. He's a tough runner. When he gets his shoulder square to the line, he's tough to bring down, so we got to get him before he can get squared up and get moving.
I think our defensive keys is rotation of different ball players into the game, stopping the run, and forcing them to pass. Sometimes that comes back to haunt you, but the defense has played very well in our secondary the last couple of days. I think we've got 10 interceptions the last 4 games, so no touchdown passes this year. So they played pretty well back there, pretty tight. And offensively, we've got to get our running game going. And we get the running game going, and then we're able to play action and keep the ball. Our main strategy, our best defense is our offense, trying to keep the ball away from the opponents.
Schuylerville, Lansingburg, and Amsterdam will all play here at Dietz Stadium in Kingston, New York. First up, Schuylerville versus Dobbs Ferry. Coming up next, it's all the action right after this on TW3. Beautiful day for football here in Kingston, New York, as Schuylerville and Dobbs Ferry set to get after it. First quarter action is brought to you by Terry Morris Mercury and Terry Chrysler Plymouth. Capital District Physicians Health Plan, CDPHP, evolves around you. And by Softex. Captains out on the field for Schuylerville and Dobbs Ferry as we're just about set to go between these two schools. James, we didn't get a chance to get a prediction from you before the game, but you got to feel like if you look at Schuylerville and Lansingburg against Rye later, Amsterdam versus Harrison, wouldn't be a stretch to say that Schuylerville probably the biggest underdog out of the three. It's going to be a tall task for them today.
Well, they lost this game last year to Dobbs Ferry, Robert, and they're really going to have, I mean, what Greg O'Connor said in the pregame I think is very, very true. They've got to establish the running game. They got beat at the point of attack last year in a big way. And Dobbs Ferry does that to people. They're very big up front. They're also very physical. And the Black Horses are going to have to match that if they want to establish their running game and to provide time for quarterback Ryan Washburn.
Dobbs Ferry, the home team today, and Schuylerville, the road team. Actually, all three Section 2 teams will be the road teams because of the alternating seasons. 1 year, one side is the home team. Another year, the other side, as we take a look at the state rankings in Class C. We got those? No, we do not. We'll get to those a little bit later on. So Schuylerville will be the home team. Dobbs Ferry, the number 1 ranked team. Schuylerville, number 6. Well, this Dobbs Ferry team's really been a juggernaut all season.
Well, they're the defending state champions, and they've won 23 games in a row, Robert. They have those uniforms. They kind of look like the old Giants uniforms, and they played like Giants in Class C the past few years, and they're going to be a formidable foe to beat for the Black Horses. They're going to have to play their A game to compete.
Dobbs Ferry in at 10-0, Schuylerville 10-1, as will be the case with all these teams we see today. You got to be a pretty dominant team to make it this far in the state playoffs, but the points for and points against for these teams are just silly. Dobbs Ferry 303-62. They've outscored their opponents this year. Schuylerville not far behind, 320-98.
Yeah, I know the one thing that's really impressive about what Dobbs Ferry's done, Robert, is they've not allowed a touchdown pass all year long. And we're going to see a couple of guys in the secondary that have like numbers, number 4 and number 5. That's Trevor Saunders and Kadeem Scott. They both come in with 3 interceptions. They've been a big reason why the Eagles have not allowed a passing touchdown, and that's the reason why Coach McKenzie in the pregame talked about we like teams to try to pass against us because they have the speed in the secondary. And conversely, the other thing about what's impressive about their defense, they've only allowed 2 touchdowns through the first 3 quarters of all the games this year. The majority of those 62 points have been scored in the second or the fourth quarter against the second-team defense. So Schuylerville certainly has a tall task, and you know the great thing about state playoff games is you never know. Get a couple of breaks, you get out to a good start, and you know it changes the psyche real quick.
Ready to kick it away is Peter Riley for Dobbs Ferry in the blue jersey, Schuylerville in the white jerseys, as Riley will put a boot into a low end-over-end kick that goes off an up man at the 30, picked up by another up man at the 24, heading up the field to the 31-yard line is Alex Galenko for Schuylerville, and they'll take over 1st and 10. Just underway, Schuylerville and Dobbs Ferry. As James, we take a look at the Schuylerville offense.
Ryan Washburn, the starting quarterback. Mike DeGregory, who's really come on as a junior, along with Zach Kozerski, the leading rusher for the Black Horses. The wide receivers Ben Zarzicki and Mike Booth. Blake Thomas, outstanding tight end, with Schoonmaker, Maston, Proctor, Volano, and Tim Case up front for the Black Horses.
1st and 10 for Schuylerville, moving it left to right across your television screen from the 31-yard line. A pitch left and cutting upfield across the 35 to the 40 is Kozerski. Zach Kozerski, the running back, 5'9", 170 pounds, close to a Schuylerville first down.
Toss sweep designed to go to the left, Robert, as we see the defense. Ryan Fleming, Brandon Blazeford, Oliver Dobbs, Thomas Gardner up front. Also, Bobby Stutz, a guy to keep an eye on at linebacker, along with Eric Sittman, Peter Riley. The defensive backs outstanding, Kadeem Scott and Trevor Saunders. Keep an eye on those two, number 4 and number 5, outstanding players.
As you can see, Dobbs Ferry has their names on the back of their jersey. It's a very, very rare for high school football. So that'll help us identify what coming in is a pretty unfamiliar team to most Capital Region high school football fans. Just short of a first down, so it'll be 2nd and short for Schuylerville.
Well, that toss sweep was designed to go left, and actually a nice run there by Kozerski to cut it back inside. A little bit of an over pursuit there by the Dobbs Ferry Eagles, and a good first down pickup of 9 yards.
Washburn, the quarterback. Ryan Washburn, a senior, 6 feet, 175 pounds. One receiver to each side. Back to pass, throws near side. Juggled and incomplete. Mike Booth, the intended receiver for Schuylerville.
A little simple out route there, trying to little three-step drop, and just dropped a little bit behind the receiver. Not a bad, spot to gamble in that situation. It's second and short. Most people, I'm sure the Eagles probably anticipated that Schuylerville was going to go for the quick run up the middle and try to get that first down. Now they get the opportunity, third and short.
Third and less than a yard. It'll be a quarterback sneak up the middle, and Washburn has got it, driving his way forward to the 45-yard line for a Black Horses first down.
So far this season, Dobbs Ferry, the most they've given up in any particular game is 16 points. They did it twice in their Week 7 matchup against Croton-Harmon and then against Bronxville. Both games that they won pretty handily, 39-16 and 32-16. Last two games have been very, very impressive in the playoffs, beating Rhinebeck in their Super Bowl 21-3, and then in the regionals they shut out Sullivan West 26-0.
Fakes the handoff, now gives it to Kozerski, running up the middle. Kozerski has got another Schuylerville first down into Dobbs Ferry territory at the 44-yard line.
Well, this is the kind of start that Greg O'Connor wanted to see, Robert, and the reason why is he needs his offensive line to be physical. Dobbs Ferry's defense is extremely physical. They're big, they're fast, they anticipate very, very well, and so far they found a home up the middle for Zach Kozerski. Most of his runs usually are to the outside, but so far, a little power football up the middle. Two big pickups for the senior. This one a first down pickup.
Very important for Schuylerville to get off to a good start. Say to Dobbs Ferry, we're not afraid of you. We're going to come out and play our brand of football. Handoff up the middle. First man through is wrapped up. Flag is down. Mike DeGregory on the carry, wrapped up and stopped for a short loss.
Well, he was engulfed there by Anthony Goodwin, one of the captains, defensive tackle. Shot block against the Black Horses. I would believe that Coach McKenzie will take the penalty and push the Black Horses back onto their side of the football field.
Await the call from our referee, Dale Weatherspoon.
Blocking both ways, offense, 15-yard penalty, first and 25.
So a big penalty against Schuylerville, 15 yards, backs them up all the way to the 40-yard line, close to where they started the drive before they picked up the 2 first downs.
That could be a real momentum breaker, and really what they have to do right now is the Black Horses just try to pick up 7 and 8 yards here, still first down.
Pitch left, Kozerski fumbles the ball, gets a fortunate bounce, cuts to his right. Kozerski in the open field and taken down at the 45-yard line. That could have been a disaster, but the ball bounced right up to him.
Absolutely, and that was a situation with the ball bouncing up the way that it did. The turf can be kind in this situation. It almost looked like a basketball. It bounced right up to him, and then he reverses his field as the Dobbs Ferry defense was expecting the run to the left, obviously with a toss sweep. They come back right, pick up 5 yards, which could have been disastrous, and they actually picked up a reasonable gain on first down.
Second down, 21. Fake the handoff. Washburn has a man open, but overthrows him or underthrows another receiver right in between two guys. It'll be third and long.
No, I think you were right. I think he overthrew his intended target, which was Mike DeGregory out of the backfield, and he was wide open. And that one just got away. He didn't set his feet. It might have looked like Ben Zarzicki was the intended receiver, but it was DeGregory. He overthrew him by quite a bit.
They'll send Zarzicki out to the left along with DeGregory. To the right, Blake Thomas and Mike Booth. Out of the shotgun, Washburn airs it out down the near side. It is incomplete. Two guys there, but overthrown, and good coverage by Dobbs Ferry.
Well, they had the Trevor Saunders coming over to double team on Blake Thomas. Blake Thomas is usually the guy they go to in these situations, the senior tight end, and he was well covered. And you see Saunders comes in the picture and makes sure that Blake Thomas knows he's there with a little hit.
Little love tap at the end of that play. On to punt it away for Dobbs Ferry, Ben Zarzicki. 2 men back deep for Dobbs Ferry, or Schuylerville, I should say, Ben Zarzicki. Punt is away, low end-over-end kick, bounces at the 40 and will bounce inside the 30. Good Schuylerville roll to the 23-yard line, where Dobbs Ferry will take over 1st and 10.
So 2 first downs on that opening series for Schuylerville, but the chop block penalty moves it back 15 yards, stalls out their first possession. Now the Eagles get their first crack at it.
Take a look at the starting offense. We'll take a look at that right after this play. 1st down and 10 for Dobbs Ferry. The Eagles moving it right to left in their blue jerseys. They'll send 2 receivers out to the right, behind quarterback Brian Farrington. And a handoff up the middle and a good hole for Peter Riley, who takes it close to the 30-yard line, as now we take a look at the Dobbs Ferry offense.
Brian Farrington, outstanding quarterback. Bobby Stutz is a running back who's come back off an injury. He's a real key player for them, along with Peter Riley, 1,000-yard rusher. Just went over that last week. Calabra, also a key offensive player. Goodwin, Stolstan, Fleming, Dobbs, and Gardner up front for the Eagles.
Farrington, the quarterback, number 1. Send Riley behind him off to his right. Quick handoff, man in motion. Bobby Stutz breaking it to the outside, trying to turn the corner, fighting towards the 1st down marker. Looks like he is very close at the 34-yard line.
Now, don't be fooled by the small size of some of the running backs. As you see the Schuylerville Black Horses defense, Galenko, Schoonmaker, Maston, smallish defensive tackle, but very effective. Volano, Casamano, Blake Thomas, Zach Kozerski, and in the secondary, Mike Boot, Ben Zarzicki, and Mike DeGregory. Very opportunistic secondary for the Black Horses.
Forced a lot of turnovers last week against AuSable Valley, as you heard Marissa mention before the game.
And that's going to be a key in this particular game as well. The Black Horses, in order to compete with this Dobbs Ferry team, they're going to have to force some turnovers.
1st and 10 for the Eagles. Handoff Riley, cuts left, cuts right, wrapped up by several Black Horses defenders after a short game.
Greg O'Connor talked about in the pregame, Robert, that he was really concerned with Peter Riley. Riley went over 1,000 yards last week against Sullivan West, and he's a tough inside guy, and you see that in order for the Black Horses to contend with him, they're going to have to get a lot of hats to the football. In that particular case, they had 6 on Mr. Riley.
Second down and 7 for Dobbs Ferry. Ball spotted at the 37-yard line. Pro set with back split behind Farrington. Handoff. Scataretico bouncing it to the outside to the 45, taken out of bounds after picking up another Dobbs Ferry 1st down.
Nice job there by Scataretico, but I want to talk about the block that Stutz made outside. He sprung it. You might be able, you kind of see it in the distance. He went out and attacked one of the defensive backs, and that really opened the outside lane, and we were able to turn the corner, get close to midfield at the 47. Good start for the Eagles on offense.
So Dobbs Ferry yet to pass the ball. We'll have it 1st and 10, just outside the 46-yard line. Ekblom in motion. They hand it off Riley, and he is wrapped up and stopped. Good play by Jeremy Volano from his defensive tackle position.
And that's going to be a key for the Black Horses. They're going to have to get some penetration. Size-wise, their defensive line comparable to the offensive line of Dobbs Ferry. Dobbs Ferry enjoys a pretty sizable advantage up front in terms of beef. They've got the size advantage. The Schuylerville defense is going to need the quickness advantage, and we saw Volano there with the stop.
Loss of 1 on the play. Handed off. Bobby Stutz. He gets across midfield to the 46-yard line.
And you see the wrap on his left hand. He had a hand injury early in the season, missed some time, starting to round back into form, and he's an attacking runner. Even though he's a smallish guy at 5'10", 175, he is not afraid to use his body, and he will certainly put his hat in there. We've seen that before from this team. TW3 viewers remember Dobbs Ferry from the last few years. They played against Hoosick Falls and then Schuylerville last year.
Sets up a 3rd and 3. About midway through this first quarter, Stutz in motion. They hand it off. Riley up the middle, has a first down to the 40-yard line. So Dobbs Ferry and Coach Jim McKenzie really wanted to establish the running game, and they've done that thus far.
Well, that's really their brand of football. They just pound at you time and time again. Farrington, his older brother, was a quarterback here a couple of years ago when they played Hoosick Falls and lost that game. Hoosick Falls went out of the Carrier Dome and lost in the state championship. Dobbs Ferry hasn't lost a football game since then. The reason why? They run, and they run a little bit more.
23 wins in a row for Dobbs Ferry, including a 46-8 win over Schuylerville in this same game last year. Schuylerville stacks the line. Farrington will hand it off Riley. Not much doing there. Stopped at the 40-yard line, no gain.
And that's really exactly what Greg O'Connor wanted to see. I believe there's a flag down. We're going to get a face mask penalty to tack on what was a good defensive play. I believe it's only going to be a 5. So it'll be first down. It'll be first down and 5.
On the defense, 5 yards, 1st and 5.
So a couple of penalties against the Black Horses thus far.
And both of them have been costly. One that stalled out there, really negated their first drive after moving into Dobbs Ferry territory, moved them back 15 yards and weren't able to pick up the first down. And now they give the Eagles 5 yards on a stop for no gain.
Stack the line again. They pitch it left for Stutz. All sorts of room inside the 30. Stutz to the 20. Stutz foot race to the 10-5. Touchdown. Dobbs Ferry from 35 yards out. Bobby Stutz makes it 6-0.
Great lead block, and we'll see another replay by Oliver Dobbs, the guard, the pulling guard. He comes around the corner, and he clips the defensive back for Schuylerville. Little misdirection toss out, and there it is, the block that sprung Bobby Stutz for the opening touchdown here for Dobbs Ferry. They get on the board here in the first quarter, 6-0.
35-yard run for Bobby Stutz, and he was not really touched till he got inside the 5-yard line. On to try the extra point is Peter Riley, multi-dimensional player. Kick is blocked. So it is no good.
Blake Thomas right up the middle, the 6'3" tight end. Low kick. Riley took a little bit too long to get that kick off, and Thomas right up the middle gets his hand on it and prevents the extra point, as we'll see here on the replay. Right up the middle, there he is, Blake Thomas. Right there. That's that basketball in him.
4:57 left to go first quarter. Dobbs Ferry 6, Schuylerville nothing.
So the Eagles on their first drive get a little help with the face mask penalty, and then Bobby Stutz on the outside, 35 yards. Nice run.
9-play, 78-yard drive. All of them runs. They never pass the ball once.
Well, if you can get that kind of efficiency out of your running game, with the exception of the 5-yard penalty, basically they average, almost 8 yards per carry. So if you can do that, there's really not much need to pass the football.
So Riley will be on to kick it away from the 40-yard line. His last kickoff was not exactly a thing of beauty. This one, once again, a low bouncer taken outside the 30 by an up back close to the 40-yard line, where Schuylerville will have good starting field position. Dobbs Ferry from downstate, we were told just before the game, about 5 or 10 minutes south of the Tappan Zee Bridge, the town of Dobbs Ferry. Just north of the city, 2004 state champions. Look at that record over the last 5 years. My goodness, 57-2. 23-game winning streak, as James mentioned, and that streak started after a loss to Hoosick Falls.
Yeah, in this state semifinal game two years ago, the Panthers went on to the state championship game, lost a very close decision in the state title game by 4 points, and were very representative that year, and Dobbs Ferry was the favorite coming into that game.
They handed off Kozerski, not finding much room off the left side, and stopped after a gain of about half a yard.
And the one thing that you really have to be impressed about the Dobbs Ferry defense, in addition to the low points allowed, as we see Ryan Washburn, the quarterback, gets his instructions from Greg O'Connor, they really get their linebackers in. The defensive linemen are very good at occupying the linemen, and that opens up lanes for their linebackers to pursue to the football, and they do a great job with that. And their linemen are very, very good. Anthony Goodwin, 57, keep an eye on him.
They stack 3 men in the backfield. They hand it off. Kozerski does not find much again to the 42-yard line, and now Schuylerville's going to be forced to put it up.
And this is the kind of start that Jim McKenzie wants to see from his defense, because he invites opponents to try to throw the football. They stack a lot of defensive people in the box, and they say, hey, throw the football against our secondary. If you can do it, if you can be the first team to get into the end zone, then we'll take our chances. And they like their chances with a very effective secondary, and they get a pass rush on the quarterback as well.
Frightening thought for opponents Kadeem Scott and Trevor Saunders, a junior and a sophomore, respectively, their 2 cornerbacks. Stack the line again, fake the handoff, flushed out of the pocket and sacked. Eric Sittman makes the sack on Washburn, and Schuylerville will be forced to punt.
Senior linebacker Washburn tries to go out to the left side, and he can't get away from Sittman. So second defense or offensive series for Schuylerville, much worse than the first. They went in the opposite direction on the sack. So now Zarzicki will come out to punt. Dobbs Ferry's got things rolling their way so far.
Good defensive set for the Eagles. Good snap, bobbled, almost blocked. End over end kick that bounces just across the 50 and will be down at the 47-yard line. So excellent field position for Dobbs Ferry on their second drive.
Blake Thomas downfield to stop the ball from bounding backwards. So
don't forget, sorry James, Time Warner Digital Cable. Get up to 300 channels with all of your favorite TV programming. Quick access to our easy-to-use on-screen program guide, part of Time Warner's all-in-one. 866-370-PHONE, 866-370-PHONE, Time Warner Digital Cable. Dobbs Ferry ran the ball on every play on their first drive. We'll see what they do here on 1st and 10, moving it right to left. Handoff. Scataretico bounces it outside, nowhere to go, and hit hard and dropped. John Schoonmaker delivered the final blow on Scataretico.
Senior defensive end, and he had a little emphatic finish after the stiff arm that knocked Kozerski down. And see Blake Thomas in there as well. Good pursuit there by the Black Horses, and they really need to get a stop here to prevent further field position problems. Even if Dobbs Ferry isn't able to score, they don't want them to get into their own territory, because a punt would put them deep in Schuylerville territory.
Second down and 11. We'll see if Dobbs Ferry is finally forced to pass. They are not. They run the double handoff, and wide open up the middle is Stutz. Stutz in a foot race again to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, and a touchdown. 55-yard run. Bobby Stutz, it's 12-0.
One of their staple plays, Robert. A lot of Section 2 viewers will remember that LaSalle likes to use that double handoff, and we see it there. It's a staple in the Eagles' offense, and Stutz gets up the middle, and it's just an all-out foot race. Zach Kozerski tries to make the diving stop. Excuse me, that was Mike DeGregory that tried to make the diving stop there. And Stutz, who's back to his early season form, 2 touchdowns early here, 1:55 to go in the first quarter, and Dobbs Ferry's got a 2-touchdown lead.
Obviously that cast on his arm not slowing down his foot speed. Very fast player. He's outrun the Schuylerville defense twice now. 35 and 55 yards on his 2 touchdown runs. They will go for 2 to try to make up for the missed extra point earlier. They'll run the option left. Now it's just a keeper for the quarterback, and he will take it in for the deuce. Brian Farrington from 2 yards out. And it is now Dobbs Ferry 14 and Schuylerville nothing.
Well, that's signature Dobbs Ferry football, Robin. The reason why is they've done it once again with their running game. We see here on the 2-point conversion, little fake play to Riley, the belly play, and they just roll it out with Farrington, gets a lead block, just gets inside the end zone area for the score, not being able to stop with Mike DeGregory on the hit.
1:55 left to go first quarter. Dobbs Ferry has gotten off to a very quick start, 14-0 they lead. As James said earlier, they haven't given up more than 16 points in a game all year. So,
and a lot of those points in both those ball games were in the fourth quarter against second-string defense and toward the end of the game when they had a comfortable lead.
On average, only giving up about 6 points for the entire game all season. So Dobbs Ferry off to the start they wanted. And Riley will be on to kick it away.
So far, Riley, 2 very short kicks. Schuylerville would love to get something going here, special teams, any kind of big play to kind of swing momentum back their way.
Better kick this time, a line drive that will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Schuylerville will not have good field position. They'll be at their own 20. Reminder that first quarter action is brought to you by Terry Morris Mercury and Terry Chrysler Plymouth. Capital District Physicians Health Plan, CDPHP, evolves around you, and by Softex. And our thanks to all our sponsors all season long here on the TW3 Game of the Week. This week, Games of the Week, as we'll have the 2 more games coming up today from Dietz Stadium. Lansingburg versus Rye at 4 p.m. and then the nightcap, Amsterdam versus Harrison, 8 p.m. A full day of football here on TW3. So
that's a super Saturday,
That is
Robert.
a super Saturday, and settle into your couch because you ain't going anywhere. They'll throw it deep down the far side. Caught by Ben Zarzicki, and Zarzicki pushed out of bounds across midfield. A big gainer on first down, a 37-yard.
Kadeem Scott got caught because he was looking back at the football when it was already over his shoulder. We'll see it here on the replay. Washburn's already got it out. Kadeem Scott looks for the football, and then he realizes, oh, it's over my head. Nice job of recovery, but a big pickup there on first down and a much-needed journey once again into Dobbs Ferry territory for the second time. The Black Horses need to get on the board and get their end zone dance ready.
They'll hand it off Kozerski, and he is stopped in the backfield at the 47.5-yard line.
Anthony Goodwin, and he just, when he hits you, he's a big dude at 6 foot, 290, the senior defensive tackle nose guard. Very, very effective. And he's been active so far. He's made a couple of stops. He's blown up a couple of blocks as well that other guys wound up making the tackles, but he was an influential player on those run stops.
3 receivers, 2 to the top of your screen. Back to pass, Washburn throws deep down the near side for Thomas, incomplete. Thomas could not make the acrobatic catch inside the 25-yard line.
And the sophomore Mike Higbee, linebacker, got caught again, or actually defensive back, got caught looking for the football, and then you see his head turn around, and Blake Thomas is already behind him. Unfortunately for the senior tight end for the Black Horses, wasn't able to come down with it. Certainly a opportunity there that was a little bit too far, as you see the frustration from Blake Thomas as slams his fist on the turf. He knows that could have been a first down pickup.
3rd and 11. Washburn throws deep down the near side again, incomplete. Intended for Blake Thomas there on the coverage, Trevor Saunders, as it looks like Schuylerville's passing game is mostly downfield.
Well, it's just 3-step drops, 5-step drops, and basically they're throwing to the big guy on the right side. It seems like they're working Thomas on that particular side of the field, and they've looked at Zarzicki on the left side a few times, but it's been basically working the sidelines.
57 seconds left to go first quarter. 14-0 Dobbs Ferry. Good snap. Short kick. Bounces outside the 30. And we'll be down to the 25-yard line, so Dobbs Ferry a chance to really put a stranglehold on this first quarter with another chance from the 25. Not great field position, though, for the Eagles.
48 seconds to go. So far, the first 2 possessions, Dobbs Ferry has not let Brian Farrington show off his passing arm. Not that he doesn't have a good one. It's just that this offense is predicated on their rushing attack, led by Ellis, the 1,000-yard rusher at fullback. And we've seen the return to form of Bobby Stutz, the senior. 2 rushing touchdowns of 35 and 55 yards in the first 2 series for Dobbs Ferry.
Farrington works under center. Hands it off Riley. Picking his way forward across the 25 to the 27.
Now, something was messed up in that play because Farrington gave a signal for motion. He gave somebody a motion signal and nobody went in motion. So there was something wrong with that. still were able to pick up positive yards because Riley usually is always going forward.
Could be the last play of the first quarter. 2nd down and 8. Handoff Riley. Following his blockers forward across the 32, and that will end the first quarter. 2 touchdown runs by Bobby Stutz. And the score is Dobbs Ferry 14, Schuylerville nothing. Back with the second quarter after this on TW3. Eagles lead the Black Horses 14-0 as we get set to start the second quarter, which is brought to you by Latham Ford, Route 9 Latham, St. Peter's Hospital, and by your local Upstate Ford dealers. Let's quickly go down to Marissa.
Thanks, guys. The other local team that was playing here last night, Cambridge. Let's take a look at those highlights. The Indians back in the state semifinals for the second time in 3 years, facing Tuckahoe in the Class D semis. First quarter, no score. Spencer Luke puts it up. Tyler Harrington gets it down. 1 foot in, 7-0 Cambridge. Going to the third quarter now, same score. Sam Luke, 24 touchdown. The Indians go up 14-0. Tuckahoe would fumble on the ensuing kickoff. Cambridge, great field position. Sam Luke again up and over the line. Cambridge wins 28-8. They'll play next week at Syracuse for the title. Now, one other game we want to update you on right now. Ithaca and Union playing in the NCAA tournament first round. Ithaca is up 16-7 right now. Robert, back to you.
Marissa, thank you. And that was a terrific game last week. Union beating RPI 49-42 right here on TW3. And our best wishes to the folks over at Union to try to come back and beat Ithaca this afternoon.
Yeah, the Bombers are a traditional Division III power. Union is returned to prominence under John Aldino this year. Very impressive game. Certainly one of the more memorable Dutchman Shoes games, if not the most memorable game of all time in that great series. It's lasted over 100 years and back to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2000.
14-0 Dobbs Ferry. Robert Lee, James Allen, Marissa Jacks with you on this Saturday afternoon. Beautiful day for football as Farrington will look to pass. Nope, he'll run across the 35 and tackled at the 39-yard line. Enough for a Dobbs Ferry first down. Thought we had stopped the presses material there. Nope. Dobbs Ferry still yet to throw a pass.
It's a run-pass option when he rolls out like that, and he realized, hey, I've got some running room. He can certainly throw it, and he decides to put the football under his arm and picks up a first down.
Farrington gets the play in from the sidelines. Ball spotted at the 39-yard line. 1st and 10, Dobbs Ferry. Eagles come in 10-0. Schuylerville 10-1. Schuylerville's only loss this season came against Hoosick Falls, 13-7. Farrington runs the option right. Cuts upfield to the 45. Good move by Farrington. Taken down at the 48-yard line. Tackle made by John Schoonmaker for the Black Horses.
It was a subtle fake, but boy, was that ever effective. He freezes the backer, as we see here. Little hesitation. I'm going to pitch. No, I'm not. Nice job there by Farrington. That's experience at the quarterback position. The senior, 6'1", 185 pounds. Nice run. Taken down by Schoonmaker, and not before picking up 9 yards.
2nd and just under a yard. Handoff, Riley has a first down, lowers the shoulder, runs over a man into Schuylerville territory at the 48-yard line.
Jeremy Villano gets the stick, but not before Riley gets into Schuylerville territory for the 3rd time in their 3 offensive series. Out to the 48.
A 35-yard touchdown run by Stutz, and then a 55-yard touchdown run by Stutz again in rapid succession, makes it 14-0 Dobbs Ferry. Handoff, Riley picking his way forward, tackled from behind by Schoonmaker again at the 41-yard line, but a couple of yards short of a first down.
Most of these linemen, they're really impressive to me for Dobbs Ferry because they're big in the sense that they're really thick. They're not really, in terms of weight, they're not huge. They're 200, 220. Obviously, you look at somebody like Anthony Goodwin at 290, he's going to get your attention. But they're real nice low center of gravity, real good run blocking. They're really effective, and they're starting to take their toll on the defensive line of Schuylerville.
Quick handoff, Scatteretico around the left side, has a first down inside the 35 and taken out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Nothing fancy, although they did have that double handoff that went for the score, but otherwise it's been just...
This is another staple play in their arsenal. They'll use the motion man, and they'll hand it off to him. In this particular case, Scatteretico, the sophomore, 160 pounds. He gets around the corner. It's a really good implementation of the offense in terms of Coach McKenzie. What he does is he plays to the strength of what his offensive players are capable of doing. Scatteretico is good to get to the outside, so send him in motion, give him a head start, and he gets around the corner for another first down for the Eagles.
From the 32. Handoff up the middle, Riley into the secondary. Riley on his feet, cutting to the far side, 15, 10, 5, and ridden out of bounds inside the 5-yard line at the 1. Peter Riley puts Dobbs Ferry on the doorstep.
Well, we'll see the motion. That time, the motion really helped open up the middle for Riley, give him an opportunity to head downhill, and he's going to be tough to deal with. Ben Zarzicki takes him out, but not before getting inside the 5-yard line. As we see there, he bounces to the outside. Big number 44, the leading rusher for the Eagles, well over 1,000 yards, and he adds to his total impressively there to get Dobbs Ferry to the goal line once again.
1st and goal now from just inside the 2. Dobbs Ferry knocking on the door again. They hustle to the line. They send a man in motion. Run the option right. Now Farrington will keep. He will walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Bryant Farrington from 2 yards out. Dobbs Ferry 20, Schuylerville nothing.
Not only were the offensive linemen effective in that blocking sequence, Robert, you have to also credit Bobby Stutz, Frank Scatteretico, and Riley. They all made lead blocks. Farrington goes into the end zone untouched And Dobbs Ferry shows why they're defending state champions. Impressive. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. This one a touchdown by the quarterback, Brian Farrington, 20-0.
195 rushing yards now for Dobbs Ferry to just 24 for Schuylerville. And the extra point is up and good. So with 8:49 left to go second quarter, the score now Dobbs Ferry 21 and Schuylerville nothing. And we're going to presume that Dobbs Ferry only has 195 total yards because they haven't passed the ball once.
No, that's you really were on a limb on that one, that prediction. But you know, this is just an impressive display of football, and in terms of just execution, knowing what your personnel can do. This team is in a real comfort zone. That's the reason why they've won 23 games in a row. They have a confidence. They know what they want to do, and they go about doing it very impressively. They get everybody involved. All the offensive linemen are very good. Those particular handoffs where they go to the outside, it helps set up the run with Riley up the middle. They had really tried to cut down on that play, and Schuylerville had done a pretty good job up to that point in stopping the fullback on those belly plays, but once they sent motion, they showed it the previous play with Scataretico, and Riley bursts up the middle, sets up Farrington for his touchdown. And Schuylerville's just looking to get anything going in a positive manner.
Riley on to kick it away. Got 2 short kicks and a touchback from the 40. Very short kick that goes about 20 yards in the air, bounces around, and is taken by an up back at the 30 and tackled at the 32-yard line.
Well, we saw that last night in the Cambridge game. One of the kicks was very, very short, and the Tuckahoe return man just let it bounce, thinking it was right along the sideline. It did not go out of bounds, and Cambridge recovered it. That helped them get their 3rd touchdown of the game and really kind of put that game away. So you have to be very, very conscious that even though the ball might be heading out of bounds, it's a live football.
Don't forget our TW3 Thanksgiving menu. It's become a bit of a yearly tradition on TW3. Replays of all these games on Thanksgiving Day. Have your turkey, 12 o'clock, 3:30, and 7. All 3 games that we'll be showing today once again on Thanksgiving. And whistles before the play. And it looks like Schuylerville is probably going to be penalized.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15.
And for those who are familiar with Section 2 athletics, Dale Wotherspoon is our head official today. He is well-known for his work in Section 2. He's a Section 2 official and also an athletic director.
Schuylerville versus Dobbs Ferry at noon, Lansingburg and Rye at 3:30, Amsterdam-Harrison, the nightcap, 7 o'clock. Although by the end of that Amsterdam-Harrison game, I can guarantee you I will be asleep.
Well, it's that 4th helping of stuffing, that's why.
The turkey gets you every time. Handed off Kozerski, bursting through the line. Kozerski across the 35, a good gain for Schuylerville out to the 38-yard line.
Well, Greg O'Connor talked in the open, Robert. He talked about, hey, we've got good running backs. Mike DeGregory and Zach Kozerski have both had outstanding seasons, and what they need is daylight. And so far, Kozerski's just been very, very effective running the football up the middle. He had a 9-yard carry, he had an 11-yard carry, and this one he picks up about 7 yards on 1st down. We'd like to see a little bit more of that.
To the line, Schuylerville moving right to left, 2nd down 4. They pitch it left. Kozerski trying to bounce it to the outside, trying to turn the corner, unable to do so. An undercut at the 39-yard line after a gain of about a yard.
Bobby Stutz going 2 ways, and it's got to be difficult to try to tackle with that big club on his hand, but he's uses his right hand pretty darn well, and then gets the wrap with the left. Very effective. That's using your smarts there by Bobby Stutz. Nice play.
Just short of the 40-yard line. Schuylerville needs a conversion here if they want to stay in this game. Handoff. They will not get it. Mike DeGregory, following a couple of blockers, is stopped in the backfield.
Anthony Goodwin's been by far the most disruptive player so far for Dobbs Ferry. He has blown up many a play, as we see here. Triple back, including Jeremy Villano lined up in the backfield, and they stuffed that play. And the senior defensive tackle sends the Schuylerville special teams out one more time.
Schuylerville's only got 10 guys on the field. Now they get an 11th out there. In no man's land, Ryan Washburn. Looks like it's going to be a fake, and there's a flag down. They'll throw for Washburn. He makes the catch, but I think this one's coming back because Washburn was moving towards the line.
Yep. And it would have been effective if
he
had just gotten set.
Trick play?
Yeah, I think it was a planned trick play, and I'll tell you what, it would have been if he had just gotten set.
He was moving towards the line when the ball was snapped, which you can't do.
Yeah, and that's a great call by you, Robert, and you were right on top of it. And it was very plain to see from the overhead view that Washburn did not get set. If he had just gotten set, he would have been okay, and they would have had a first down pickup.
Motion on the offense. Repeat 4th down.
Got to think the Black Horses will simply punt the ball away now.
Well, there's no surprise now that you've shown that you can. You're going to try to go for it there with the fake punt. And now you have to avoid two very, very dangerous return men. And they're moved again.
Same penalty coming up. A good punt here by Zarzicki. Goes out of bounds inside the 25 at Schuylerville.
Yeah,
once again,
confusion on special teams. And Greg O'Connor just does not look happy over there, and he's got a right to be upset.
Same penalty again on Schuylerville. Dobbs Ferry hasn't been penalized once yet today.
Nope.
Schuylerville shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, mistake-free football from Dobbs Ferry. They've been very effective in all three phases of the game.
Offense, repeat 4th down.
And I got to believe that the more opportunities that Dobbs Ferry gets an opportunity or a chance to look at Zarzicki on the punt, they've gotten pretty close a couple of times. And this is the third particular sequence. Now they're setting up for a return, but don't be surprised before the end of this game that they get close to get a block.
Saunders back deep to receive along with Scataretico. This time no movement. It's a high snap. It is a running punt. Kind of an odd looking play there. Saunders will take it at the 40 and be wrapped up for a loss. Good play by DeGregory for Schuylerville on the coverage.
A very effective play. Very unorthodox punt, but effective. He got away from the rush.
Take a look at how these teams got to this point. Dobbs Ferry out of Section 1 taking on Schuylerville out of Section 2. Marcus Whitman, Section 5, and Sydney in Section 4 on the other side. The winners of these two games, the two teams on the left and the two teams on the right, will meet in the state finals at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse next week at 2 p.m.
on Saturday.
I was walking through the Dobbs Ferry crowd, and they were already asking each other what time the championship game was next Saturday. I guess they knew something we didn't as they passed the ball, and it's a first down. Mark Calaba out past the 45 to the 49, the first pass for Dobbs Ferry.
Calaba was a star last year in this particular game. As we see Farrington roll out to his right, Calaba wide open. Good stop there, but not before picking up a first down. And now you've got Schuylerville's defense thinking about another element that they haven't had to deal with, and that just makes things more dangerous for this Dobbs Ferry offense. They're very, very effective.
Past the halfway point in this second quarter as Schuylerville calls a timeout.
That's a good timeout, and the reason why is because they need to regroup. They're reeling right now. They had a couple of penalties on special teams, 3 offensive series so far for Dobbs Ferry, and they've run right down the field and scored. And Greg O'Connor and his staff go over to address the defense and say, "Hey guys, we've got to change our fortune."
Don't forget Capital Region On Demand. Catch all the action again and again and again and again. Channel 1009, Capital Region On Demand, part of Time Warner Digital Cable, 866-321-CABLE.
We've gotten you from 2 agains to 3 agains. We're going to get you to 4 by the end of this broadcast.
James, I did that just for you, buddy.
I know you did.
Well, it's going to be a long day here. And a lot of great high school football action. Coming up at 4, Lansingburg versus Rye. 8 o'clock, Amsterdam versus Harrison.
Section 1 versus Section 2.
All day.
And so far, The first game was in favor of Section 2 last night. Cambridge defeated Tuckahoe 28-8 to reach the Class D Super Bowl. As we see the Bobby Stutz first quarter hour reaches in 35-yard touchdown to get in and not to be outdone. He says, I can go a little further. How about 55 yards? Nice attempt there by DeGregory, but not enough to stop the senior, who's been the star so far on offense.
Handoff Riley. Good running room up the middle. Stopped after a gain of about 5 to the 46-yard line.
One of the things I really am impressed by is you're talking about a team that's very, very effective in Dobbs Ferry, but they're very fundamentally sound. We saw there the Riley got the handoff up the middle, but Stutz took out his fake to the side, and Farrington took out his fakes all the way. They're very fundamentally sound, and that's the reason why those misdirection plays are very, very effective, because you really have to pay attention to your discipline and stay in your lanes.
Scatteretico in motion, they'll hand it to him. Upended at the 45-yard line after a gain of about a yard. It's not like Dobbs Ferry is just gashing Schuylerville. They're just picking up 4 and 5 yards at a time.
All you got to do is move the chains, and you know, sometimes it doesn't have to be like the first series where it was 8 or 9 yards at a pop. You get 4 yards a play, that moves the chains. You get 3 downs. You keep doing that. If you average 4 yards per down and you're a ball control offense the way that Dobbs Ferry is, you're going to win a lot of football games. And obviously they've won 23 in a row. The defending state Class C champions, looking for another title here against the Black Horses.
They'll look to pass. Farrington throws deep down the middle. Has incomplete. Had a man, Mark Calaba, but it was thrown a little bit behind him and he couldn't make the catch.
Mike Booth there on the defense, and a good job by him. He saw that the football was at least in the vicinity of Calaba, and then he just climbed on him and made sure he didn't get the ricochet. Look at this. No, you're not getting that one.
We'll see. It looks like Dobbs Ferry's just going to go for it.
Well, I mean, there's really no reason for them not to, because they have Schuylerville has not shown that they can move the ball more than about 20 yards in an offensive series. And I think they're trying to demoralize. They're trying to end this game in the first half, and no better way to do it than get another first down and keep their drive alive here. 4th series, first 3 ended in scores for the Eagles.
They've gotten away from Stutz a little. And they'll roll out Farrington. He'll throw, has Calaba for a first down inside the 40, breaks a tackle to the 30, and out of bounds at the 29-yard line. A gain of 16 and a Dobbs Ferry 4th down conversion and a first down.
Simple out route. They roll Farrington to the right side. It's a run-pass option. He realizes Calaba's wide open. I don't have to run the football. I'll take my tight end out, breaks a tackle, picks up another 6 or 7 yards. First down pickup, and that's the reason why you go for it. If you have got confidence in your offense to pick up 4 yards, they pick up 16, and they move further down into territory into the 34-yard line.
First down and 10. Farrington will send 2 receivers out to the left. In motion, Scatteretico. They hand it to him. Trying to cut upfield at the 30. Picks his way forward to the 25. Fumbles the ball. It's loose on the ground. Picked up by Dobbs Ferry at the 16-yard line. A fortunate break for the Eagles, as we'll quickly go down to Marissa.
Thanks, Robert. Now, this is a very tough Dobbs Ferry offense. We've seen that. They score a lot of points, but I talked to Coach McKenzie before the game. He said about 5 games ago they were watching the tapes, weren't really happy with the offense, so they broke it down, started all over again, make sure Stutz and Riley get the ball a lot. But he said Brian Farrington is making a lot of calls on this offense. He said it's like having another coach right on the field. It's great, so they let him have a lot of freedom. Robert, back to you.
Marissa, thanks.
Well, it's been that kind of a day for Schuylerville when you get an offensive break like that, or you get a defensive break, it doesn't turn out. And I want to expand on what she said in terms of Farrington. We've seen him a couple of times check out of plays at the line of scrimmage, back out, make calls, and when he's checked out of those plays, they picked up a couple of first downs. So the senior quarterback is making the proper adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And just when I say that, they get a penalty.
Took a long time to get the play in. It is a delay of game against Dobbs Ferry.
See, I can't talk about him that way because now he's going to pick up a delay of game penalty.
Offense, still first down.
Bronx cheer from the Schuylerville crowd, maybe feeling like they've gotten a little bit of a Tough whistle so far. Every penalty in this game had been on Schuylerville up till that point. So to be 1st and 15 from the 21. Fake the double handoff. Scataretico is tackled in the backfield. Good job blowing up that play by the Schuylerville D-line.
Absolutely. Good penetration there. See Travis Martin in on the stop. And they were able to get outside pursuit, forced him back inside. Martin finishes the job.
James had brazenly disregarded his coat before the game. Now he's putting it back on as the wind has really started to pick up a little bit here in Kingston.
I just want to be consistent. That's all.
It's a beautiful day for football. Can't ask for much better weather on a November the 19th. It's just a terrific day for football. Great conditions. You hate to see these big-time games hampered by the weather, and certainly not a factor today, although the wind is blowing a little bit. Farrington rolls out, throws, caught inside the 10 by Matt Higbee for a Dobbs Ferry. Not quite a first down. Looks like he's close.
Nice job by Zarzicki. Hit him almost simultaneously to win the football awry, but an excellent concentration by Higbee. Makes the catch. 3rd down, they'll call timeout. Jim McKenzie, the head coach of Dobbs Ferry, 2:01 to go here in the second quarter. Eagles up by a score of 21-0.
First timeout called by Dobbs Ferry. Second quarter action is brought to you by Latham Ford, Route 9 Latham, St. Peter's Hospital, and by your local Upstate Ford dealers. Our thanks to all our sponsors, the TW3 High School Game of the Week throughout this season. And today's action is the end of the road for us producing on TW3, I believe, although there is a chance the state finals could be on next week on TW3. But it's been a great season thus far, starting way back in mid-September and now ending up here in mid-November. And it's been a great year of high school football here on TW3.
Well, it's been very, very enjoyable, and we've been treated to a lot of very good football by Section 2. Another strong year for our area, and 4 teams in the state semifinals, and we'll see by the end of the night tonight on TW3 how many actually will be playing in the Carrier Dome next week.
The only class that Section 2 was not represented in was the Class AA. Give us a little bit of a recap of what happened last night.
Well, last night, the team that beat LaSalle last week in the state quarterfinals, North Rockland played Monroe Woodbury here at Deet Stadium in the game after the Cambridge contest, and Monroe Woodbury won pretty impressively by a score of 28-0, so they move on to the Carrier Dome once again.
They'll run it up the middle with Farrington. He's close to the end zone. He's got a touchdown. Well, a surprise play there. About a 9-yard touchdown run for Farrington as he just snuck it up the middle for the score.
Well, Marissa talked with Coach McKenzie about the adjustments, and that was just a plain play where Ryan Farrington, the senior quarterback, saw that the defensive line was not set for the Black Horses, and he just took it up the middle for the easy touchdown.
27-0 now, Dobbs Ferry, with 1:54 left to go in the first half. Peter Riley on for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. 1:54 left to go, second quarter. Dobbs Ferry Eagles 28, and the Black Horses of Schuylerville nothing.
I was really impressed there. The 9-yard touchdown run by Farrington. 9 plays, 64-yard drive, 4th down conversion pass from Farrington to the tight end Calabra, and that really sprung that particular drive. And nice adjustment at the line of scrimmage by Farrington. Makes the call to himself for the 9-yard touchdown pickup. Look at that. And they did. They caught Schuylerville completely napping, and he just bounces it off into the end zone. Nice job there by the senior quarterback.
So Schuylerville will get the ball back here with a couple of minutes left to go in the first half, and looking for anything positive to build on going into the locker room.
Well, they would like to get obviously, first and foremost, they'd like to get a score before the end of the half, and the reason why, twofold. One, you want to build any kind of momentum positive going into the half. The other thing is Dobbs Ferry will get the football to start the second half, so you really don't want to find yourselves any further down. You don't want to get crazy, of course, too, and get extravagant trying to do things you're not comfortable doing, but they just need to get something positive going before half.
Riley's kick is away, taken at the 15, up to the 20-25, out to the 30, and tackled at the 32-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 Schuylerville with 1:47 remaining in the first half.
Alex Galenko on the return there for the Black Horses, who we see upcoming here on TW3 at 4 o'clock. Class B state semifinal. Lansingburg, ranked number 3 in the state, versus the number 2 team in Rye from Section 1. And at 8 o'clock, Class A semifinal. Amsterdam making their 5th consecutive trip to the Dietz Stadium semifinal game. And this particular year, they face Harrison from Section 1.
Out of the shotgun, Washburn. Stands in, throws over the middle. Oh, almost intercepted. Threw it into triple coverage. Looked like Peter Riley had the ball right in his mitts, but could not make the catch.
Flag down, I believe, on the play as well. We're going to get a personal foul roughing the quarterback against Dobbs Ferry, so it would have been negated anyway, as we see. That was a late hit. You really didn't see it on the screen, but it was definitely well after the ball was released, and Riley is not happy with himself for dropping it, but as it turned out, it wouldn't have made any difference.
Quarterback defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
And there's the kind of break that Schuylerville is looking for, any kind of positive break. There's one. You don't want to get your quarterback blown up, but Washburn's okay, and they move the ball out to the 47-yard line. Black Horses have made 2 ventures into Eagles territory, but haven't gotten past the 40.
Delayed draw. Kozerski not finding much to midfield. Picks up about 3.
Black Horses have 2 timeouts, so I would think that they're going to get this play in reasonably quick. They're not going to call timeout. Running some personnel. This is usually the time they try to get an isolation with Thomas, but we saw in the last crossing pattern that the Eagles have adjusted to the big senior tight end, and they had 3 people all around him, and Riley dropped what would have been a sure interception.
2nd down and 8. Out of the gun. Blitz is on. Throws. Caught. 1st down.
Thomas. And they're going to move the sticks, so that will stop the time at 1:01. They'll get up to the line of scrimmage. Exactly the kind of drive Schuylerville needed before the half, and now they've got to get it into the end zone.
No reason to spike it here. They'll send 2 receivers to the near side, 2 to the far. Washburn, quick drop, throws low, incomplete.
Well, they wouldn't have picked up anything further even though that ball was bounced in, but it actually isn't the worst thing because it stops the clock at 53 seconds, still 2 timeouts remaining, 2nd down and 10 after the crossing pattern to the senior tight end. Blake Thomas gets the Black Horses into their best field position so far at the 30-yard line of Dobbs Ferry.
Washburn, delayed draw, Kozerski. Bouncing off a tackler to the 25 and tackler to the 24, and now Schuylerville will probably be forced to use a timeout. Or perhaps not.
A good one on the stop. Schuylerville will come up to the line of scrimmage one more time.
3rd down. They'll fake the spike. They'll throw near side for Zarzicki. Incomplete.
Oh.
Trickery there.
It was good. It was good trickery. The only problem was Washburn had just led his receiver, Zarzicki, just a little bit too much. We talked about Kadeem Scott and Trevor Saunders. Kadeem Scott out of coverage. He actually was beat on that play. And those 2 defensive backs have been the stars in the secondary for the Eagles, and they talked about they had a little interception contest going between the 2 of them. Well, that time it was could have been a touchdown given up. It would have been in the first one of the season via the pass. Dobbs Ferry is 10 games into the season. They have not allowed a touchdown pass yet.
4th and 5, huge play. Pressure's on. Washburn throws. Incomplete. Intended for Blake Thomas.
He caught the football, Robert, but it was out of bounds. So they end that particular series on downs. They try to go with a fake on the spike play, and overthrown. And Thomas, great concentration there, just wasn't able to, as he slams his fist and the football down this time. Little frustration. Certainly a great job of concentration catching the football, but unfortunately for him, Washburn led him too far out of bounds.
So we'll see what Dobbs Ferry decides to do. They're primarily a running offense, so they'll probably just take a knee here.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get too extravagant. I think Jim McKenzie, the head coach of Dobbs Ferry, is very pleased with what he's seen so far in the first half. No reason. They send Riley back 10 yards. They're just going to take a knee.
And they do just that. And that will be the end of the first half, dominated by Dobbs Ferry, the score. The Eagles of Dobbs Ferry 28 and Schuylerville nothing. A couple of touchdown runs by Stutz in the first quarter. Then Farrington, the quarterback, a couple of touchdown runs in the second quarter. And it's 28-0 Dobbs Ferry, firmly in control right now. Really doing what they want on the ground, stopping Schuylerville defensively. And it's been a very impressive performance for the Eagles from Section 1 so far. As we'll go down to the field and check in with Marissa.
All right, Coach Greg O'Connor here with me now. Coach, a couple of costly turnovers there. Now you guys are in a position where you have to come back. How are you going to do that?
We're going to go regroup. We'll try to figure some things out, find some things that maybe we could get working. I just know we got to start tackling better, too. We got our work cut out for us.
As you suspected before the game, your defense having a tough time stopping Stutz and Riley. Defensively, what are you guys going to change up in the second?
Oh, we've got to get more helmets to the football. I mean, they got us on our heels right now. We're not tackling well, so we got to regroup and come out with a lot more intensity.
All right, the run is obviously your strong suit. It has been all year, but this Dobbs Ferry team is really packing it in on the line, almost daring you guys to throw the ball. Are we going to see Washburn airing out a little more in the second half?
No, we're gonna figure out what we got to change blocking wise, and we're gonna get that run game going.
Okay. All right, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Thanks, Robert. Back to you.
Thank you, Marissa. 28-0. Dobbs Ferry leading Schuylerville. Back with a halftime show right after this is Matt Twardy up here high atop the press box. We'll have more right after this on TW3. Today's halftime show is brought to you by Upstate Ford. Have you driven a Ford lately? Visit your local Upstate Ford dealers today. The score at the half is Dobbs Ferry 28 and Schuylerville nothing, along with James Allen. Robert Lee back with you. And James, it's been Dobbs Ferry's been pretty much as advertised. They've won 23 games in a row, and they show no signs of stopping here.
Well, they've been very, very effective in all phases of the game, and they really established the running game right away. And, you know, Bobby Stutz is a guy who's really been hurt most of the year. We see the left arm guard that he's been wearing, and, you know, he's really kind of come back into the fold offensively, and he's been the most effective guy, and it's really established, opened up opportunities for other guys. Certainly Riley's very, very effective, and of course Farrington making a couple of nice adjustments at the line of scrimmage, 2 touchdown runs in the second quarter. Very, very effective so far for the Eagles, and you saw a little of the frustration at the half with Greg O'Connor. He's going to be searching for answers to try to come up with something that Schuylerville can do to kind of change their fortunes, so they're going to have to do it very, very quickly against this Eagles team.
Plenty more to come here on the halftime show. Right now, we're going to send it down to Marissa with a special guest.
Thanks, guys. We're here with John Ford, the East semifinal director. Now, John, this is a big weekend for high school football. Talk to us a little bit about the planning and the preparation that goes into it.
Well, the planning usually takes several months and during the summer. We have to line up, make sure we have good communication with the schools, good communication with the police department, the press, and the media in general.
Now, you are the sectional coordinator as well. You guys had a big win last night in the AA. How do you feel about that?
Well, of course, Section 9 has not been very successful in the state tournament. We've sent 3 teams to Syracuse since the tournament began in the early 90s. We were successful at Round Out. They became the Class B champion. Walk Hill last year, it went down to the last minute and they were defeated, but we were very happy with their showing out there. And this year we actually have a AA team that's going. Monroe Woodbury, we're very happy with that. They've been close in years past. They've been very close to going. We're happy for that community and the coaching staff there.
And high school football is growing every year. It seems crowds get bigger and bigger. What about the crowds that you guys have seen lately?
Okay, last night's crowd was very impressive. We had this complete grandstand with North Rockland people, and the other side was completely filled with Monroe. And North Rockland brought a team of probably, without bringing up JV students, with close to 70 kids on their varsity roster, so that was very impressive. I haven't seen that in a long time.
All right, John Ford, thank you very much. Good luck next weekend. Robert, back to you.
Marissa, thank you, and our thanks to all the folks who've helped make these broadcasts possible and this event here at Kingston possible today. We'll take a break. The score at the half, Dobbs Ferry 28 and Schuylerville nothing. Back with more right after this on TW3. The score at the half is Dobbs Ferry 28 and Schuylerville nothing. The New York State Class C semifinals from Dietz Stadium here in Kingston, New York. Back here on the Upstate Ford halftime show. And James, if you're Schuylerville, if you're Coach Greg O'Connor in that locker room, you've had some open receivers. You haven't been able to hit them. You've run the ball up the middle somewhat successfully, but what do you try to do to score at least 29 points to win this game?
Well, first and foremost, they got to score at their first possession, and before they even get that opportunity, they're going to have to stop Dobbs Ferry. I think he talked about they're going to have to make some line switches. I think they're going to have to change some things in terms of schemes and how they attack. But you touched on it, Robert. I mean, they've had Washburn's had a couple of wide receivers, and Thomas open and overthrown him. He's only 2 of 11 so far, and that's got to be a little bit better percentage if they're going to hope to get back into it. And defensively, they're going to have to make some stops, because even if they can score, they're going to have to stop Dobbs Ferry in order to get back in the football game.
You mentioned that Dobbs Ferry has not punted yet this entire game. They've scored on every possession they had the ball, except for the last one when they took a knee. Has it just been a matter of the offensive line being too much for Schuylerville to handle?
Well, they're very, very effective. And, what I talked about during the second quarter is they're not physically that big other than Goodwin. It's just that they're very low to the ground. They're very effective. They're very aggressive. A lot of times in run blocking, it's about aggression. You got to get to your guy. You get a good push, and you just drive them. And they do that as well as any Class C team I've seen in the last 5 years. And that's the reason why their running game is so effective. They create a lot of running lanes to the inside and the outside, and Riley's certainly a strong enough runner inside. If you give him a seam, he's going to get some room to run.
James, we take a look at some of the first half highlights, and most of them, as you might expect, on the side of Dobbs Ferry.
Well, we see here Bobby Stutz. He was the first quarter star, the senior coming off the injury. You see with the left guard on his hand, but he gets to the end zone, dives for the pylon, 35-yard touchdown run on the first series for Dobbs Ferry, 6-0 in favor of the Eagles. Bobby Stutz up the middle this time, and we see him break a tackle there, attempt by Mike DeGregory. 55-yard touchdown run, the two-point conversion coming up here, and it is made by the quarterback, senior Brian Farrington. Gets to the outside, beats the tackler, 14-0 in favor of the Eagles. Now we see Ryan Washburn go up top, and he gets the ball over the defensive back, Ben Zarzicki, for a 34-yard completion down the sideline. That put Schuylerville into Dobbs Ferry territory, but they were successful on that particular drive. Now Peter Riley, the senior fullback, 31 yards, bounces to the outside, gets down to the 1-yard line, and that sets the stage for the senior quarterback, Brian Farrington, and he will run around the corner, touchdown run for the Eagles, and that extends the lead out to 21-0 in favor of the Eagles. Not to be outdone, Brian Farrington this time makes adjustment at the line of scrimmage and dives right up the middle and goes 9 yards, catching Schuylerville's defensive line, not prepared for the snap. 9-yard touchdown run makes it 28-0 in favor of the Eagles. Schuylerville before the half tried to get to the end zone. Blake Thomas with his reception, 30 yards over the middle, and that was the lone highlight there in the second quarter offensively for Schuylerville, as we see 55 yards passing for the Black Horses, 45 yards rushing for 100 yards on offense. But that pales in comparison to what Dobbs Ferry's got. 41 yards passing, 223 yards on the ground, 14 first down pickups. The turnovers actually were 1-0 in favor of Dobbs Ferry.
Stutz with 5 carries, 86 yards, and a couple of scores. It's been a very impressive performance by Dobbs Ferry so far, as we go down to Marissa.
Thanks, Robert. Now, leading up to this game, the Schuylerville team had a lot of community support. They really rallied around this team. We had a chance to talk with Coach Greg O'Connor before the game about what that means to him. Let's take a listen.
A lot of pride. I mean, they gave us a big send-off, gave us a breakfast. They're proud of these young men, and they should be. These kids are great kids. They work hard, and a lot of pride in the community this morning and today.
A great team, a great bunch of kids, and they have a pretty good crowd here all the way in from Schuylerville to support them today. So hopefully they can come back and get the win. Robert, back to you.
Thank you, Marissa, as it's a pretty good location they've got here in Kingston, about halfway between Schuylerville and Dobbs Ferry from downstate. Don't forget that the rights to this broadcast have been granted by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, representing over 1,500 secondary schools across the state of New York and more than 500,000 boys and girls who participate annually in New York State Public High School Athletic Association Incorporated sponsored athletic competitions. Any rebroadcast or republication without the written consent of the New York State Public High School Athletic Association and Time Warner Cable is strictly prohibited. This program is a production of TW3, an exclusive product of Time Warner Cable. TW3, your cable connection to our community. Deep breath, the score at the half, 28-0 Dobbs Ferry. We'll be back with the second half right after this on TW3. Scores we get set to start the second half is Dobbs Ferry 28 and the Schuylerville Black Horses nothing. Third quarter action is brought to you by Clifton Park Dodge World. It doesn't get any better than this. Anaconda Sports, the best sports equipment at the best prices. And the Times Union, we're your local news source. 28-0, and we saw last week on TW3, Union was involved in a shootout with RPI, 49-42 the final there. Looks like more fireworks today over in Schenectady. We go down to Marissa for an update.
Thanks, Robert. Division III football playoffs. The NCAA tournament, quick update for you guys. Union and Ithaca going head-to-head. Ithaca is up right now 23-21. We just went into the half. We're going to keep you updated on this game. Hopefully Union can come back. Robert, back to you.
Defenses need not apply, apparently, over there in Schenectady. 49-42 last week and on pace for a similar score today.
They're maintaining that pace, and what an exciting game last week in the Dutchman shoes. And really, it's been nice to see the rivalry kind of extended with the Engineers, but it's been nice to see that the Union's very representative, trying to get another NCAA playoff game. They're trying to extend their season against the Ithaca Bombers, and they've made a nice comeback to pull within 2 at halftime.
Don't forget Thanksgiving Day. Plan on spending it with TW3. Replays of all of today's action. At noon, Schuylerville taking on Dobbs Ferry. 3:30, Lansingburg versus Rye. And 7 o'clock after you finished off your turkey and stuffing and cranberry sauce, Amsterdam versus Harrison. A full day of high school football on Thanksgiving, a football feast on TW3.
More stuffing. Love stuffing.
12 minutes on the clock as we get set to start the third quarter. Penny Kula down on our 30-yard line. Operating the camera down there and doing a great job, as is the entire TW3 crew, as always. Brendan, our man, down there at the other 30-yard line.
I bet you his hands are warm.
Indeed. Turn around and take a look at the camera there. Well done. 28-0, and Dobbs Ferry will get the ball to start the third quarter.
Dobbs Ferry. Chicanery from Schuylerville on the kickoff? I believe not. They'll try to make their adjustments that they've come up with at halftime and try to make them work. I want to elaborate a little bit on what Greg O'Connor said. I mean, there's every right for Schuylerville's community to be very, very proud of this program. 2 straight Class C Section 2 titles, great run, and Greg O'Connor's second year taking over from Brian Ekblom, who's back on the sidelines as an assistant.
So Gregory kicks it off, and up the middle is Trevor Saunders, returning a kick for the first time today to the 33-yard line, where Dobbs Ferry will start it up 1st and 10.
Straight up the middle return by Saunders, goes down on first contact. And the stop was made by Chris Chevalier.
So 1st and 10 for Dobbs Ferry, just underway, 3rd quarter, along with James Allen and Marissa Jacks down on the sideline. Robert Lee joining you on a beautiful Saturday afternoon from Dietz Stadium in Kingston, New York. Winner goes to the Carrier Dome for a matchup in the state final next weekend. As they'll hand it off Riley. Up the middle. No, they'll keep it himself. Actually, Farrington fooled me. He takes it out to the 40-yard line.
That's why he's so effective in selling his fakes, because even when he doesn't sell his fakes, he's it's a nice job there. He puts the ball in the belly of the fullback. Riley pulls it back out and picks up close to 7 yards.
We're going to have to be on our games when Lansingburg steps on
Absolutely.
the field here at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for everybody. The camera crew and of course us up. I'm fortunate because I've seen them play enough. I know what that double wing and how they carry out their fakes. But for people that have not seen Lansingburg up close and personal, they're in for a treat.
Hand off Riley this time, running off the left side to the 40. And don't expect Dobbs Ferry to try to go through the air very much here. The clock is on their side. They're content to just pick up first downs on the ground.
Absolutely. They have not been stopped really, other than the last offensive play of the first half where they just took a knee. That was the lone stop, if you would call it a stop, for Schuylerville. 4 offensive series. The first 4 were all led to touchdowns by the Eagles.
So to be 3rd and 3, and a big play here for Schuylerville. They need to stop here, and they need to force Dobbs Ferry to punt the ball away so they can try to get back into this game. They'll hand it off Riley. First down across the 45 to the 47, 48-yard line.
That's really demoralizing, not only because Schuylerville's had a couple opportunities. They had the 4th down where they actually picked up a pass play in the second quarter, and they've had a couple of 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 5s, but they've gone to Riley, they've gone outside to Scataretico, and they've also gone to the inside runs with Riley, and they've been very, very effective.
1st and 10, Dobbs Ferry in the blue. Hands it off Stutz. Cuts upfield, and he's on the loose again. Stutz to the 40, to the 35, and tackle to the 30-yard line. And I got to question why they don't give this guy more carries. Every time he touches the ball, he gains 20 yards.
Well, the reason why I think is they want to keep him fresh, first and foremost, because he plays on both sides of the football. But 5 carries in the first half for 82 yards. That's a nice 16-yard average, and he extends that average out a little bit more with that pickup to the 30-yard line. Nice burst up the middle. Tries to cut it back. And Kozerski is able to bring him down before he gets to the end zone.
1st and 10 from the 30. They'll roll out right. Throws down the middle. Stutz. Oh, drops the ball. What would have been a sure touchdown inside the 10. Stutz looking back into the sun, could not make the catch.
I think it was more that he got that ball a little bit too deep into his, where he has that guard on his left hand, and it kind of ricocheted off. And the sun might have had something to do with it because like he said, I think he got the ball a little bit in a great fake. He looked to the outside. Farrington goes across the middle, and yeah, he actually turned his head a little bit too quickly. Looking for maybe a free safety to come over and whack him, but there was nobody there.
See Coach Greg O'Connor on the visiting sideline. All of Section 2's teams will be the road team today on a rotating basis from year to year. So Schuylerville gets the short end of the stick when it comes to seating capacity over on the far side. Double handoff Stutz. Bounces off a tackle inside the 30 to the 26.
Good job there by Blake Thomas to force Stutz to go back inside. He wanted to go outside, but he was in that, even though he got blocked on that play. He forced the senior running back to cut it back in the middle, and even though he picked up 4 yards, it prevented a much longer run to the outside.
And it'll be 3rd down and 6. Possible 4-down territory here for Dobbs Ferry. Send Stutz in motion, they hand it to him. Stutz inside the 25, close to the 20. And it looks like he's a little bit short of a 1st down.
Well, I got to believe that Jim McKenzie is not even going to hesitate as Farrington comes over to get instructions to the senior quarterback. 4th down and 1. You could do a lot of things right now. You can fake the handoff to Riley. You can roll out your quarterback on the option play. We've seen that a little bit from him. We've seen the run pass option from the senior quarterback, Brian Farrington. Very, very effective offense because they don't rely on one particular type of play. They use all their backs. They get the tight end involved, Kalaba, and Farrington is a very good decision maker.
4th down and 1. Schuylerville needs a stop badly. They stack the line. Farrington will run it. He has got a 1st down, it appears, to the 18-yard line. Not much fancy about that, but it is enough to move the sticks.
Fake the belly play to Riley. Just cut it inside. Don't even think about pitching the ball to Stutz. Good job. Another excellent decision there by the senior quarterback, Farrington, who comes over once again to get his instructions from head coach Jim McKenzie. Big 1st down pickup here early in the 3rd quarter as Dobbs Ferry opened with the football to start the 2nd half.
So a couple of conversions for the Eagles. And they've got it 1st and 10 now from the 19. Farrington rolls out left, throws for a wide open man, caught, touchdown. Frank Scataretico from 19 yards out. Dobbs Ferry leads it 34-0.
Well, he got a free release. And Mike Booth, I believe, is the guy who was out in coverage. He just Scataretico got a free release of the line of scrimmage, and there was nobody out there. Farrington gets rid of it before taking a pretty good pop there from Travis Martin. Kind of floated it up there, but he got it out to where it needed to be, and we see DeGregory coming to the pitcher late, but he got a free release of the line of scrimmage.
So Dobbs Ferry mixing it up by passing for their 1st touchdown of the day, and they will try the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So with 7:22 left to go 3rd quarter, the Eagles now lead it 35-0 over the Black Horses.
Well, 2 for 2 so far today on 4th down conversions, and that's the reason why Dobbs Ferry, even when they face a little bit of adversity, they come through. And out of that 1st down pickup that they got with Farrington, they throw the touchdown pass as we get a look at the senior quarterback, Brian Farrington.
35-0 Eagles lead as they march down the field after taking the opening kickoff of the 2nd half. Had a couple of rough spots, but eventually punched it in on the 19-yard touchdown reception by Frank Scataretico. And lead it now by 5 touchdowns.
It's always difficult when you watch, teams that are obviously, when they get to this point, you're in the state semifinals, you're a champion, you've won your section. Schuylerville's had a great year. They came back from an overtime loss in the regular season against Hoosick Falls to beat Hoosick Falls in the Section 2 Super Bowl in a very good contest. Both of them excellent contest. And so far, Dobbs Ferry has been clearly the better team here so far this afternoon.
Running the ball to the right. Tripped up was Mike Booth at the 33-yard line, where Schuylerville will start it up 1st and 10.
And right now, if you're Greg O'Connor, you didn't get to see what you wanted to see from your defense on the first series. Now they'd like to be able to at least move the football. Maybe it's unrealistic to think they're going to be able to come back from a 35-0 deficit, but you want to like to get a couple of touchdowns. You want to gain some positives here from the experience of playing in the state semifinals on the scoreboard. Anytime you get in the state semifinals, even the moment you take the football field, it's a positive.
They'll run that unusual triple stack, 3 people in the eye, and hand it off. And it looks like a man lost his helmet, was DeGregory.
Ugh. I'll tell you what, Mr. Goodwin has been wreaking havoc on the Schuylerville offensive line. Anthony Goodwin, 6 foot, 290-pound defensive tackle, number 57 for the Eagles, blows up another play. He has done that all game long, whether he's made the tackles himself or he's blown up the line scheme. They've moved him from side to side, and he's been very, very effective.
They pitch it left to Gregory. Follows his blocks, leaps over a man, still on his feet across the 35 to the 39-yard line, and now a late flag as it looks like
that's going to be against Booth because the whistle had blown and he carried his block out too far, out past the play against Kaneem Scott downfield. I don't think that's going to be a multiple penalty. I think that's going to be against Schuylerville.
So the officials will sort it out.
And there might be a post-possession foul, so the down will count. I should say dead ball foul, not a post-possession.
And they will walk this one off against Schuylerville.
Personal foul late hit, and that was against Booth.
Personal foul, late hit on the offense, 3rd down.
No, and it is a post-possession, so they had the play, and then they lose the down because it was after the play had been stopped. And I'm actually surprised, Robert, that hasn't been called earlier because both teams have been getting involved in some skirmishes away from the football that have gone, or at least bordered after the whistle.
3rd and long, they've got to get it to the 44-yard line. Fake the handoff. Washburn throws, caught. Blake Thomas takes a hit, keeps on going. Blake Thomas across midfield. A big play for Blake Thomas to the 43-yard line and a 1st down.
Well, he's been the star really on both sides of the football for Schuylerville. He's been very, very effective as a linebacker, and he's made a couple of nice blocks, and there was second reception. He breaks a tackle and just blows up somebody.
Get off me.
And Stutz does a nice job and actually tries to rip the football and actually got it away from him once he was down. But we see her, nice throw there, crossing pattern, and Scott just get wiped out there. And Thomas does a good job, and he doesn't see Stutz come from around the corner, but a nice job. He felt the pressure once he ripped for the football and held on to it. Another venture into Dobbs Ferry territory.
And the run by Kozerski inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Check that. It was Alex Galenko on the carry.
And, you know, it's amazing. People will be tuning in and not seeing, haven't seen anything in this game, and they'll say, well, obviously Dobbs Ferry's done a great job. They're up 35-0. But Schuylerville has moved the ball into Dobbs Ferry territory 4 times. It's usually been what has happened is they've gotten to about the 40 to the 35. They've had a penalty on one possession. They had another one where they went backwards on a holding penalty. It was just a lot of different things that have kind of stalled out drives.
They hand it off to Gregory, bouncing it outside and taken out of bounds after picking up another Schuylerville 1st down at the 31.
Only his 2nd carry of the game. He had 1 carry in the first half for 1 yard. And the junior running back who's had an outstanding season. Another in a long line of Gregory's that have played in the Schuylerville program. The first family of Black Horses football.
So Schuylerville moving the ball smartly into Dobbs Ferry territory, trying to get on the scoreboard here. To the 31-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Booth, the lone receiver to the right. They'll pitch it left for Galenko. Strung out nicely by Dobbs Ferry, and he takes a big hit.
Oh, there's Goodwin again. You give him an opportunity to pursue the football and then get ahead of steam going forward, look out. Good job of Galenko. This is the smartest thing he did. He saw him coming at the last second. Get down. Oh, ouch. He anticipated that at the end of it, so he took a little bit away from it, but that's a lot of men coming at you, 290 pounds with a head of steam.
Brings up a 2nd down and 9. Just 2 men in the eye this time. Back to pass Washburn. Throws deep down the far side of the field. Incomplete.
Wow, Scataretico just let him run right by him. I'm surprised. Really, the defensive backs for Dobbs Ferry, for whatever reason, have gotten caught 3 or 4 times looking into the backfield, and then already Washburn has released the football, and by the time they pick it up, it's too late. This is another opportunity that they had that would have been the first team to score on the passing pass play this season. Dobbs Ferry has come into this game through 10 games, have not allowed a passing touchdown. That's a very impressive stat, but Schuylerville's been close on a couple occasions.
And only 2 touchdowns allowed in the first 3 quarters all year. Halfback pass. This is a duck. It is intercepted. Kozerski couldn't get much on it. It hung up in the wind. It is intercepted easily by Dobbs Ferry. It looks like Trevor Saunders with the pick at about the 13-yard line.
He said he was. They were talking before the game this week, talking with Scott and Saunders, who grew up together. They played at a previous high school. They came here to move to Dobbs Ferry, and Saunders takes the interception lead over his buddy Scott by a 4-3 margin. 4th pickoff of the year, and as we see there, it's a spinning top and very well short of his intended receiver Booth.
So 3:50 left to go, 3rd quarter. 35-0 Dobbs Ferry takes over with the ball and the 5-touchdown lead. Farrington keeps it himself across the 15 to the 18-yard line, make it the 17.
That was, I misspoke at halftime, that was the first turnover of the game for Schuylerville on the interception. And the Eagles cheerleaders putting down their signs. Not much to cheer about right now for Schuylerville. The Eagles are taking it to the Black Horses.
Scataretico, the receiver, to the near side. At the bottom of the screen, they send Stutz in motion. Farrington will throw, airs it out, has a man, incomplete.
Kalaba wide open again. Got a free release coming off the left side of the formation and runs across to the right. Farrington just a little bit too far out. Otherwise, Kalaba would have had a touchdown. As we see there, gets caught up and, almost. Ben Zarsicki on the coverage.
And Coach McKenzie didn't lie before the game. He said, we want to come out, establish our running game, then we're going to go play action. That's exactly what they've done.
Well, and they've gotten Schuylerville, Robert, so conscious of Riley inside. Stutz and Scataretico to the outside, and Farrington on the option. It's certainly any kind of play action is going to be effective.
Farrington rolls out, feeling the pressure, throws, caught past the 30-yard line for a first down. Catch made by Mark Kalaba.
Well, that was an I owe you one. I owe you for overthrowing you on the last time. We'll roll out to the other side of the football field, and now we'll get you coming back and get you that first down. Nice job there, setting his feet. Farrington going to his left, always a tough throw for a quarterback going against the grain like that. But nice concentration, good step into the throw. Kalaba with a nice sliding catch for the first down.
To the 31. Dobbs Ferry still has not been forced to punt this entire game. So they hand it off Riley, bouncing it to his right. Taken down at the 35-yard line.
Well, his opportunities in the second half have been reasonably limited, but he had a good first half along with Bobby Stutz. Between the two of them, both of them had over 80 yards. Riley, first half, 10 carries, 82 yards. And Stutz had 86 yards on 5 carries. Now well into the third quarter, adding to their totals. Both of them have got to believe Stutz is already over 100 yards, and Riley's got to be close.
Under 2 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Riley, big haul. Has a first down to the 43-yard line.
Blake Thomas once again on the stop. The linebackers, tight end, has been very, very active for Schuylerville. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't had much help on defense as once again, nice running lane for the senior fullback, Peter Riley.
Dobbs Ferry once again methodically marching the ball towards midfield. Farrington, the quarterback, sends a man in motion, hands it off Riley, cuts to his left, and hit after a short gain.
Once again, Blake Thomas in the backfield, along with Martin on the stop there for the Black Horses. inside of 1 minute to go here in the third quarter of the state semifinals in Class C, and Dobbs Ferry, the defending state champion, riding a 23-game winning streak, looking to extend to 24, and they're 13 minutes away from doing so.
Second down and 9. Double handoff, Stutz breaks a tackle to midfield, taken down short of a first down.
Good job there by Booth, because if he doesn't avoid that stiff arm, or at least hold up Stutz from that stiff arm, the senior running back would have had his third touchdown of the game.
Very close to breaking that one, the distance. Ball spotted right at the midfield stripe, and Dobbs Ferry may just choose to let the clock run out. And they won't have to move the ball, as the ball can just stay right at midfield. Yep. And they'll start the fourth quarter with Dobbs Ferry leading it 35-0.
I think they're going to turn the ball around, though.
The teams will switch ends of the field. We'll stay right here and be back with fourth quarter action right after this on TW3.
Oh,
whistles.
Ouch. Andrew Meston, a little bit too. The snap count jumped offside, so Dobbs Ferry will pick up 5 yards on the penalty. Through 3 quarters, Robert. Talk about point of attack as we get the call here from Dale Waterspoon.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, that's a first down.
So an automatic first down, over 300 yards of rushing already for Dobbs Ferry. Schuylerville with under 70.
Yeah, 303 to 64 through 3 quarters, and that's winning the point of attack battle. And Dobbs Ferry does that exceptionally well. It has not been something that Schuylerville's been able to win at the point of attack, and that's the reason why they have a big deficit in front of them.
Riley, who has 112 yards, takes it up the middle, adds to that total. Stutz has 122, so 2 guys over 100 yards for Dobbs Ferry.
And this just wears on you, because you got this battering ram coming up the middle of Peter Riley. 5'7", 185 pounds, and he plays a lot bigger than that size. You're just getting wrapped over and over again by this offensive line, a very, very effective offensive line, and just so many different running plays that they've been effective with, sending Scatterico in motion, the Stutz play. Here we go, a little inside handoff.
Handed off to Riley across the 40 to the 39, 21 first downs for Dobbs Ferry in today's game. With 11 minutes left to go, they lead at 35-0, and they'll try to pick up number 22 right here.
Well, that's ball possession. That's what Jim McKenzie, the head coach at Dobbs Ferry, wants from his offense, and they've run through the game plan to perfection so far. They mix in that pass, as he alluded to in the open. A lot of play action stuff in the second half. In the second quarter, they finally completed a pass, and now they've got a touchdown pass to Scatterico, so they just really have shown everything in their arsenal so far.
And it'll be 3rd down and 4. Handoff Scatterico. Hit in the backfield and stopped. Good play by Travis Martin for Schuylerville. And it'll be 4th down. Will they have to punt?
Yeah,
or will they just go for it?
McKenzie's over there with Farrington. I got to believe that they're going to keep going. They're 2 for 2 so far on 4th down conversions, and they're going to make Schuylerville stop them before they'll consider punting the football. So it'll be 4th down and 7.
Schuylerville defense trying to get their crowd fired up. Create some crowd noise here from the far side of the field. Schuylerville and all the Section 2 teams on the rotating basis will be the road teams today. Farrington rolls out right. Feeling the pressure, throws, incomplete. And Schuylerville has held Matt Higbee, the intended receiver.
Well, he just let him out too far. He had Higbee, he got behind the defender, but the throw was a little bit too high and too far, and Higbee's not that tall. He wasn't able to go get it. So Schuylerville finally comes up with a stop. 9:39 to go in the fourth quarter. Now the ball close to midfield at the 42-yard line. Black Horses certainly in excellent field position, try to get that first score of the afternoon.
Let's go down to Marissa.
Thanks, Robert. A quick date on the Union Ithaca game, as we've been telling you all game long. Union actually just went up 27-26. Just about 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, so we'll keep an update on this one for you, Robert. Hopefully Union can hold on to that lead.
I know Marissa would be happy about that as the run is stopped in the backfield. Guess who? Anthony Goodwin.
I mean, I've been very, very impressed by him. He knows how to play at the line of scrimmage. He moves exceptionally well for that size. He's not fast by any stretch of the imagination, but he has quickness. And he gets off the ball extremely well, reads the plays. You could make up for a lack of lateral movement or lateral quickness if you're very, very quick off the ball and can anticipate plays, and Goodwin's done that all day long.
Washburn flushed out of the pocket, throws deep down the far side, incomplete. Intended for Blake Thomas, could not make the catch.
Well, they've tried to work that one-on-one isolation with Blake Thomas on a number of occasions. Trevor Saunders, who had the interception earlier in the third quarter. Washburn steps into the throw just a little bit too tall, even for the 6'3" senior tight end.
Under 9 minutes left to go. It'll be 3rd down and 12. Schuylerville will work out of the shotgun. Feeling the pressure, throws, caught, but short of a first down, short of midfield. Mike Booth on the catch at the 48-yard line as Goodwin was coming after the quarterback again.
Yeah, well, you don't want that. And good job by Washburn to get rid of it. And unfortunately for Mike Booth, he was able to break the tackle, but he kind of stumbled down, and once his knee went down, that ended the play. And no question in this particular spot that Greg O'Connor has no choice. I don't think his offensive players would be happy if they came off and punted the ball with 8 minutes to go. There's really nothing to lose here.
Out of the shotgun, they throw near side, has a man. It is caught by DeGregory at the 45. Shake and bake to the 42-yard line, and a Schuylerville first down.
Well, that was a good throw there by Washburn. Nice patience there by DeGregory to wait for the route to clear out. They pump out to the right side, and they throw to the left. Scott there on the coverage.
Good pickup for Schuylerville. And they convert the 4th down. Will make it 1st and 10 from the 43. Ryan Washburn, the quarterback. Hands it off. Gazurski. He is dragged down by Goodwin again.
Well, he has not only has he been, I would conservatively estimate he's got over 10 tackles, but he has blown up so many other plays, and he holds up Gazurski in a real unenviable position because he's just kind of like dangling there for other guys to come in and get a good shot on, and they did.
Dobbs Ferry not taking anything for granted here, though, keeping their first team defense in the game. 35-0 the score. Washburn back to pass. Throws, caught by Thomas. And double teamed on the tackle to the 33-yard line, but not until Schuylerville picks up another 20 yards and a first down.
Well, you better believe that Ryan Washburn and Blake Thomas want to get in the end zone, and you know that Greg O'Connor and his staff know that Dobbs Ferry has not allowed a passing touchdown. They'd love to be able to get in the end zone for themselves, but I got to believe deep down they wouldn't mind spoiling the party, because I think the reason why Dobbs Ferry's defense is out there is because, first of all, Schuylerville's offense is out there, but also they had a shutout last week in the regionals. They'd like to go into the state final with another shutout.
Washburn back to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. On the run. Tripped up at the 25-yard line. Good play by Eric Sittman from his linebacker position.
Well, that's another play for Sittman. He had a earlier play where he made a sack in the first half, and Washburn was trying to wait for Thomas to kind of clear out. They were looking to make an adjustment there, and by the time he realized that he's got to run the football, the stop was made.
So the game within the game here. Can Schuylerville put the ball in the end zone, break up the shutout? 2nd down and 11. Fake the handoff. Washburn throws near corner. Caught, but out of bounds. Out of bounds. Ben Zarzicki was open again. And this time they put it on the money, but just a little bit too long.
Yeah, and I got to believe that Zarzicki did not realize exactly where his feet were, because I think if he had known that, and the other thing was he might have gone out of the back of the end zone anyway. So let's get a look at this. Nice job with selling the fake. Washburn rolls away from the pressure, takes a pretty good pop. Actually, Washburn was starting to get away from him. Dobbs just said, hey, I just kind of dove at his ankles. And makes a stop now. Another 4th down play. Schuylerville successful on the last one. This one much further.
4th down, 26 we'll call it. They've got to get to the 14-yard line or so. They'll throw deep down the near side, incomplete. Overthrown for Zarzicki. And the shutout continues. Dobbs Ferry will take over on offense.
Well, that's real frustrating. And Ben Zarzicki, as we see him walk off the field, that's really frustrating because they had a touchdown, they had a chance there. His foot was just out of the back of the end zone. The officials were right on top of that play, and Zarzicki just running down the sideline and overthrown. Scott on the coverage. 1st down for Dobbs Ferry.
Dobbs Ferry will keep their offense, their first-team offense, in the game. With 5:01 left to go in the 4th quarter. Not a huge amount of players on their sideline to put in anyways. They'll see if they can just run out the rest of the clock here. Handed off Riley. Taken down awkwardly at the 40-yard line.
Thomas and Martin, once again, they've been the 2 defensive stars really for the Black Horses. I got to believe that Schuylerville's defensive player of the game is going to be Blake Thomas. He might want to be the offensive player too. He's been a man on both sides of the football. Big number 88.
Said it looked like Riley went down somewhat strangely, and he's limping off the field. And certainly Dobbs Ferry doesn't want to see somebody get hurt a week before the state title game.
Yeah, that's the time you got to get him off the field. The leading rusher. Over 1,000 yards added to his total with a 100-yard game. Comes up limping a little bit. Gets a nice round of applause from the Dobbs Ferry contingent.
19 carries for 122 yards to be exact for Peter Riley. And you got to think that'll be the end of his day. Handed off Stutz. Full speed to the 40. Wrapped up from behind nicely. And a flag is down. Blake Thomas again.
Yeah, it's going to be a face mask.
From his linebacker position.
Yeah, they reached around. It was excellent pursuit there, but he reaches around and right there, get the face mask. A little bit.
Face mask, defense, 5 yards, good for a 1st down.
It was unintentional. He just reached around trying to grab the shoulder pads and got a little bit of the tug on the Stutz's face mask. We see here the sweep. Nice lead.
Taken down after a short gain. With 3:15 left to go, Dobbs Ferry will win the game. They lead it 35-0.
It's really an excellent job by Schuylerville, just Robert, to get back to this game. I remember last year, a lot of people were very, very impressed. It was a very senior-dominated team last year with Phil Jarvis, guys like Alex Proctor, very outstanding two-way lineman, Ryan Danaher, and a lot of people didn't really know if they were going to, be able to get back to this point, and they've been able to do it, and it's been a great season for the Black Horses.
Scataretico weaving his way through traffic to the 45-yard line as the clock continues to run. 2:35 left to go.
And Greg O'Connor in his 2nd year. That's a pretty good track record. 2 seasons as the head coach, 2 Section 2 Class C titles, 2 regional championships and 2 appearances at the Deet Stadium for the state semifinals. They lost last year to the state champion in Dobbs Ferry, and this year it looks like they're going to lose to possibly the state championship team again.
Let's go down to MJ.
Thanks, Robert. Now, another quick update here on the Union Ithaca game. We're following this one very closely for you. Union just scored a touchdown with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. They are up 34-26. Robert, back to you.
So Union was behind early, but they're making a good rally as Stutz gets a beautiful block to the 40. Stutz to the 30. Cuts inside to the 20 and taken down at the 18-yard line. Beautiful block by Matt Higbee.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that's really been impressive to me. And I talked about fundamentals in the first half. It's not only the offensive line that does a great job. Higbee takes his guy, and he rides him about 6 yards off the play. And that just opens up a whole multitude of options there for Stutz, who takes it to the sideline, then cuts it back, gets inside the 20 to about the 17-yard line. Another Dobbs Ferry drive that could reach the end zone 130. I would have to think that if they don't score here and they're going to take a knee, that's going to be it.
Classy move here by Dobbs Ferry. 10 carries, 154 yards for Bobby Stutz. And this is certainly the sporting thing to do. No reason to run up the score here with 1:10 left to go.
And the coaches, assistant coaches, give Mr. McKenzie, Jim McKenzie, the head coach, a hug. And there's no reason not to. This has been a very, very impressive performance. It's been a strong 5-year run by this program. This victory will up that record to 58-2 in 5 years. A couple of state titles mixed into that. And the last time they lost was on this field a couple of years ago to Section 2. And that was Hoosick Falls in 2003 in the state semifinals.
So with 30 seconds left, that should be the last play. 24 wins in a row for Dobbs Ferry. They are headed back to the Carrier Dome with a 35-0 victory over Schuylerville. An impressive performance on all 3 facets of the game. Offensive, defensive, not as much special teams wasn't a big factor, but 35-0, a thorough victory for Dobbs Ferry over Schuylerville.
Well, they deserved it. They're a great football team. They really came out and established what they wanted to do with their running game. Stutz has really put himself back into the focal point of this offense along with Riley. He had a big first quarter with 35-yard touchdown run and a 55-yard touchdown run on the first 2 possessions that really got Dobbs Ferry moving, and the defense really clamped down after a couple of first downs early by Schuylerville. They took the running game of Zach Kozerski and Mike DeGregory away. Very, very effective performance on both sides of the football. Jim McKenzie has a lot to be proud of with this particular program, and they're going to be a tough out in the state championship game no matter who they face.
Today's soft text play of the game is Schuylerville quarterback Ryan Washburn hooking up with Ben Zarzicki. A good pass here down the far side of the field, one of the few bright spots on offense for Schuylerville. Congratulations to Schuylerville. Soft Text will be sending the Schuylerville Booster Club a donation for today's soft text play of the game. Congratulations. 35-0. The final score in favor of Dobbs Ferry. They will head to the Carrier Dome to play in the state championship game next week. They are celebrating on the field jubilantly, as you might expect. An impressive performance for Dobbs Ferry from start to finish.
Well, the last guy shaking hands in the line for Dobbs Ferry is Anthony Goodwin, and if he's not the defensive player of the game for Dobbs Ferry, there's going to have to be an investigation because that guy was effective from start to finish.
As we go down to the field, do we go down to the field? Yep, not yet. 35-0 the final score. And we'll wait for the signal. Yep, now we're going to go down to the field in Marissa.
Thanks, guys. Here with Coach O'Connor now. Coach, between penalties and a tough Dobbs Ferry offense, you guys really couldn't establish a rhythm on offense.
No, they just kicked our cans. Simple as that. It's a good old-fashioned butt whipping.
All right, now obviously not the way that you guys really wanted to end your season, but you really had a good season.
We did. We got nothing to hang our heads with. We came down here to win. We did it, but we're not gonna. We'll hold our heads up. We're proud of what they did. They worked hard. They had a nice season.
All right, Coach, congratulations on a great season. Robert, back to you.
Marissa, thank you. Final score, Dobbs Ferry 35, Schuylerville 0. We'll be back with the post-game festivities right after this on TW3. The TW3 truck on this Saturday afternoon. We're done with one game out of three. Final score, Dobbs Ferry 35, Schuylerville nothing. Today's TW3 postgame report is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Save hundreds of dollars a year with our all-in-one package. And a special thanks to our major sponsors, your local upstate Ford dealers and Softex. Robert Lee, James Allen back with you here high atop the press box. Dobbs Ferry thoroughly in control throughout. They beat Schuylerville 35-0 in this semifinal game for the second consecutive year, and you've got to like their chances going forward in the state final next week.
I do. I will be hard-pressed to think anybody's going to beat this team. They do it really in a number of very impressive ways. Offensive line, extremely effective. Running backs, they've got a lot of weapons, certainly with Riley. Stutz is really at the top of his game. He's right back to where he was at the beginning of the year. Scatteretico is a nice little option with the little motion play that they run with him. And then you got the senior quarterback, Ryan Farrington, who's very, very impressive. Defensively, they haven't given up a scoring touchdown via the air, and they could have. Schuylerville had a chance right in the fourth quarter, but almost was not quite enough. And I really like Dobbs Ferry. I think they're going to be a tough team to beat in the Carrier Dome, and 25 wins in a row and a couple of state titles to their credit.
Only 7 points scored in that second half. We take a look at the second half highlights, and there weren't a huge amount of them, to be honest with you, especially after that Union RPI Fest last week.
Well, there was one touchdown, and there it is right there. Brian Farrington, Scatteretico for 18-yard touchdown pass, made it 35-0. Washburn hooked up with Blake Thomas on a couple of occasions in this game. This one a 33-yard reception after breaking a tackle. Big pickup there for the Black Horses. But unfortunately here they try to go with the option play, and Kazerski's pass is well short and intercepted by Saunders, who made his fourth interception of the season to halt that particular series. And now Bobby Stutz, one of the big offensive stars, the offensive player of the game for the Eagles, cuts it back inside, picks up 22 yards for a first down. So The Eagles really got it done, and they kind of maintained their advantage and added one more score in the second half.
Take a look at the final stats. 124 passing yards for Schuylerville, 47 on the ground. Dobbs Ferry rolls up over 400 yards of offense, 342 on the ground. Washburn, 6 out of 20, 124 yards. Stutz, the star of the game, 10 carries, 154 yards, and 2 scores. James, we heard you talk about it during the fourth quarter, and a reminder that coming up next, Lansingburg and Rye coming up at 4 o'clock, Amsterdam, Harrison, 8 o'clock, the Class A semifinal. But touching one final time on Schuylerville, they finished the season at 10-2. Dobbs Ferry improves to 11-0, but certainly a lot for Schuylerville to be proud of.
Absolutely. Class C this year was really a very wide-open affair, and Schuylerville lost a lot of veterans from that team last year, and this team was, there was a lot of question marks. Who was going to step up? I mean, Zach Kozerski's been a good running back through their system over the years, and DeGregory's the junior. They've really both of them had great years in the backfield. Blake Thomas, everybody knew what he could do on both sides of the football, and he was certainly a star today and won the Defensive Player of the Game award. Offensive line really came together. They overcame a victory or a loss earlier in the season against Hoosick Falls to win the Class C title, and a great showing to get to the state semifinals, even though you lose to they're the defending state champions. A very impressive Dobbs Ferry team. Nothing to be hang their heads about, as Greg O'Connor said to Marissa at halftime or at the end of the game. We've got nothing to hang our heads about. We had a great year. Anytime you get this far is just absolutely a great season, and unfortunately they lost to a better team.
Don't forget, this is just the first game out of 3. Lansingburg versus Rye coming up at 4 o'clock. Amsterdam, Harrison, 8 o'clock. So for our entire TW3 crew, Marissa Jackson on the field, James Allen, Robert Lee saying so long. We'll see you in about an hour and a half back here on TW3, Lansingburg versus Rye. The final score here, Dobbs Ferry 35, Schuylerville nothing. We'll see you later on this afternoon right here on TW3.